Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto YouTube Charts video. I am No FOMO Charts. Today is Friday, July 18, 2025. It's after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the USA. Welcome everyone. This is a swing trading and investing YouTube Charts channel. Let's begin with the earnings releases upcoming this week. We have various companies in various industries: Domino's Pizza, Verizon, Coca-Cola, General Motors, Texas Instruments, AT&T. The biggest earnings releases will most likely be Google, Tesla, Intel. Also, we have American Airlines, Alaska Air, Chipotle, Phillips 66, Southwest Airlines as well. Economic data. There's a Fed Chair Powell speech. This is not the FOMC meeting. Existing home sales data for real estate, unemployment claims, manufacturing and services PMI, and new home sales for real estate as well. Durable goods and core durable goods. Recent news. We are in stock market earnings season. Now, the biggest news for crypto, which has been months in the making, if not years. The USA Genius Act was signed into law by both President Trump and the House, and also previously by the Senate signed the law as well. The law establishes a regulatory framework for the $250 billion stablecoin crypto market. In addition, the Clarity Act will also regulate digital commodities beyond stablecoins. The Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act prevents the Federal Reserve from issuing any retail central bank digital currency directly to Americans. This essentially helps set the main stage regulatory framework for stablecoins in the USA. This is why it was called Crypto Week this past week, why the crypto market rallied, and then we have a top. So there's a sell the news event today. For stock news, President Trump also wants to add another minimum plus 15 to 20% tariff on EU goods and imports by August 1st, trying to negotiate trade deals. Those letters were sent out to trade partner countries. Also, new baseline tariff rates of 20% to 40% have already been levied upon dozens of countries, mainly Asia, Middle East, and EU. Next, USA Federal Reserve press conference is on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. Now, finally, the charts watch list. I'm only going to go over some of these, but there is some shooting star candles for ARK, Coinbase, Robinhood, Plug Power, FXI, China ETF. And some of the volatile stock names, CRWV is downtrending. Circle had a rejection. Very strong bearish engulfing candle today. Open, one of the biggest penny stocks, dollar stocks, huge 200% rally in the past 1 to 2 weeks, but there is 4-hour bearish momentum. So it can keep going, but at some point it's going to pull back. It already had a 25% pullback after 100% rally. Netflix post earnings downtrending. Reddit is just suspicious to me because it's lowest stochastic RSI. Webull's uptrending breakout. I remember a couple months ago, people were saying on Reddit and Wall Street Bets that Webull could be the next Robinhood play, and actually came true at plus 50% rally. And XYZ Block, formerly Square, uptrending before earnings on their S&P 500 inclusion news. Now, many cryptocurrencies and altcoins, which I'll talk about, they printed new higher highs in the price. A lot of coins went 10, 15, 20, 25, even 50%. XLM went 100%. It was beautiful. But now we're having price pullbacks and volatility after the news this week. There's a lot going on. I do want to make it clear that I do not trade all of these. These are my watch list. Been having a fantastic month. Couple weeks here of trading. But let's focus in on SPY. SPY, ETF. The resistance from last week, there is resistance at 626, which was barely broken right now. The weekly chart has just barely closed. We did not get an evening star bearish candle printed. It actually broke bull. We had a weekly doji last week. We're still in the uptrend. If I pull up my EMAs, the 50 is still above the 200 EMA, obviously. And we're still holding actually below this trend line. It's a little bit volatile right now. Let me redraw the support line on the bottom. Sometimes the trend lines, if they get drawn on a different time frame, it shifts. So there we go. We're still under this yellow trend line right now. Oscillators, stochastic is actually a little bit in the low zone. This could, if we have good earnings, we could actually have an upside down head and shoulders. But the RSI is a little bit bearish. Momentum on the MACD itself turning a little bit bearish. Starting to have bearish momentum building on the daily. However, we are not at extremes. So I am not shorting the S&P right now. I will short the S&P if we ever get very quickly either out of this Bollinger Band zone, which is 640, or extreme 670 area for now on this chart. The pullback support zones looks like 622 and 615. Let's switch to Bitcoin just to get the first two out of the way. Bitcoin. Here's a Binance chart. Today, Bitcoin, this is what I'm saying in the earlier, still riding this trend line support. We had a nice bounce off of it in June. And then we had a consolidation breakout, which I posted about on TradingView. And from that spot on the breakout, we went plus 9%. Now, there is a short-term double top I'm seeing here. The resistance below 120,000, which is a beautiful number to hear about for Bitcoin. $117,000 support as well. If I pull up a volume profile, open up my indicators, technicals, profiles, visible range volume profile for 2025. One way to look at it. There is not much trading volume that's happening up here. Even this entire range from 110 to 116, I'm looking on the right side here in the circle, is open. A lot of people, or probably institutions, looks like the peak is $104,000, $105,000, 107, 109, and 111. Okay. In terms of pivot support, we're resting just above the pivot of 117. If we stay above 117, that's fine. I hope we don't crash to 112 or even 108 on a massive sell-off. The weekly chart is not closed, so I'm not going to show that. But we did hit some overbought. It's too high on stochastic RSI, on RSI as well. We're starting to get this bearish momentum. But for me, I'm not letting go of crypto as an investor, understanding that there is going to be plus or minus 10% or 20% volatility on cryptos. But we are in the uptrend right now. This is just my strategy. I'm in the uptrend. High, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. If we make a higher low, and we just had the regulatory framework passed for crypto, if we get the little bit of sell-off, let the oscillators reset, take some pullback, pull back to an EMA, and then bounce one more time. Okay, let's switch back to stocks. I'll just go rapid fire for the remainder. QQQ, we rejected below this pivot point, 564, resistance, support at 557 as well. The 20 EMA is at 549. Dow Jones still in the uptrend. Rejected below pivot point of 448 and 445. I have a anchor VWAP. That's what all those color lines are that are fanning out. Sometimes I like to do that just to make sure I know where the relative VWAP is. So you can see the line here. The VWAP is way down here at 417 on a daily. So anybody who bought after April 24th is in the money green right now, even if it's just anywhere between 2 to 15% profit on the Dow Jones ETF. This looks like consolidation to me, and it's pulling back after it's a flag essentially. So as long as we hold above 437, we should be okay. But we're in earnings season, so anything's possible. IWM, I like this golden cross down here in the 5200 EMA. Potential short-term head and shoulders. So if we pull back, move down to a neckline of 218 support, resistance 225. Let's look at some of the watch list. just take a pit stop at XLK because we're getting stuck right below this resistance level at 261. We have not had a significant pullback in the tech sector, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned if that volatility, if we pull back strongly in XLK, if that's going to spill over to cryptocurrency. So 258 is the support and 253 resistance right now at 261. If I pull up a linear regression, not extreme. Bollinger Band, not extreme either. So it's going to be up to the day traders if they're going to call that as the resistance or not, and the earnings. Now into the watch list. ARK. Very similar in the uptrend. I just see this short-term shooting star. So if this turns into a bearish engulfing or a evening star pattern, we could pull back down to this little pivot here, 76 or 75. Still doing fine, however. Coinbase, a very similar setup, much stronger looking shooting star and sell off today, Friday. If I pull up my linear regression, just pierced out of there. It pierced above the Bollinger Band, so that's why the algorithms and the news, they know to short that because there is obvious bearish momentum, bearish divergence that's happening on. You can see the price going up, MACD going down, RSI going down, stochastic RSI angling down, my DMI also angling down, volume also angling down. There are maybe multiple indicators that are saying we could pull back on Coinbase just because we got a little bit too excited. Another indicator I like to use, sometimes I don't use all of them at the same time. Depends on what I'm doing, but VStop, just understanding it's a ATR-based volatility stop. This is free on TradingView. Just understanding that if I randomly bought at this spot right now at 4/1978 on a Friday after this volatility, the volatility is approximately 9%. So I don't really like when the VStop or the ATR range is so large. That means we had a large gap up. It's very volatile. I like buying, if it's possible, on little pullbacks, maybe close enough to one of these EMAs. I have to go to 4 hour for this. You can see we're having a little pullback touch and then a trend change, and then the VStop is a lot closer there. The volatility stop, the stop loss was only 2% back on July 8th. It's only 10 days ago. And then the stock is up 21%. So sometimes just psychologically, what helps me is not EMAs, because sometimes if I use an EMA, this is just like very advanced. If I use an EMA like this, a 4 EMA, it looks like it's too high because the price is fanning out. So I have to use my discipline, or maybe the RSI looks too high. So what I learned is when it's uptrending hard is ignore the oscillators. Ignore the oscillators. I don't care about this down here that much, because if I come into the market at any random point in time, if I use ATR volatility stop, I understand, and I believe it's still going higher. We have a consolidation, right? It's going higher. We have a consolidation, and then maybe I'll use one EMA or something, and it starts to trend change. Even if I don't have the EMA, it's starting to trend change. So if I use VStop, the ATR at this spot, 1 to 2 ATR, I think it's 1 ATR. No, it's 2 ATR. So 2 ATR in the default multiplier in the settings, that would have been 2% at this precise moment on July 8th. So then I don't like buying 10% range of stop loss. 2% is more reasonable, maybe 4% just to target this low down here, the previous low of July 1. And then I just trail that, or I can let it go, let it run 20% and then close today. So sometimes psychologically, ATR and volatility stop helps me more than just the random EMA, because sometimes it looks like it's about to crash at any moment in time. So having that mathematical safety net helps. Let's move on. That was some education. Let me go faster. Hood, shooting star, doji candle type of formation, outside linear regression, outside Bollinger Band just for a moment today, below the pivot point. So there's 3 resistance signals for me. And I mean, this is like the hottest stock right now, so I'm not going to short it too hard, but I'm probably going to do that when I see a larger double top, or if their earnings are bad, which maybe it's not going to be bad this time. Plug power, this is uptrending. I do want to point out that plug came out on my scanner about 6 months ago, 3 to 6 months ago. So that's why my screener, my strategy for longer term trading, swing trading, position trading is very early compared to other people. So that's why sometimes my watch list, it sounds wrong sometimes because it's so early. I remember getting, I think it might have been March, April, and May, and even to June that my alerts or my screener kept showing, okay, why is something happening on plug? It's not happening yet. But now we see 6 months later, a massive rally, right? So sometimes the no FOMO play is I got to get in early. I got in early on crypto. I didn't trade plug, but I remember seeing plug and Tilray on my scanner. It's quick side note, Tilray is the same problem, right? It was downtrending. I didn't see it happen yet, but then at some point it broke above the resistance, and then we had a bit of a short squeeze. That range was about 30 to 80%. So sometimes getting in early and putting on that risk. This is the uptrend into potential daily resistance zone of 200 EMA, but it just broke above that. This is not an extreme double top, so it's probably going to try to pierce it more in the Bollinger Band. So if it gets up to like $2, maybe that'll trigger the next sell-off. Support at 167, 150. FXI, the China ETF, just interesting. It had a gap up, maybe on some kind of trade deal or corporate news or government news. But interesting that it's just above this Bollinger Band. That's all I'm going to say. It's just shooting star above here, and it's still in the uptrend right now, but it's not extreme. It just showed up on my scanner. Now, CRWV, downtrending price right now, remember, called this potential head and shoulders, that it could have 20% and go down and hit 20% target. So it's just downtrending right now. I do not recommend buying downtrending stocks because we do not know where the actual bottom of this stock is right now because of the competition. But if somebody's trying to tactical trade this, it's somewhere around the 50 EMA and the anchored VWAP, which is around 120. Although I think this is probably going to dump. That's what I think, because it's downtrending and it's below resistance. So until there's maybe the hope here, I'm still bearish on the stock right now because of the momentum. But if it's going to have a double bottom or an upside down head and shoulders or fundamental news reversal of something good happening, then maybe I'll come back. But I'm still looking at 107, 93, 82, or at least 120, 115 area at CRWV. Because I like buying stocks when it's going up. I don't like buying after a pullback because it's kind of too late, in my opinion. That's just my style. Now, Circle, I will admit, I was a little bit wrong on Circle for the past couple of weeks because I remember maybe I showed something back here that said I don't like buying on downtrends. But like I just said for CRWV, if we get a double bottom, it changes my thesis. It changes my idea. Okay, so let me just redraw this. If I use an anchored VWAP, let's do both. Anchored VWAP and anchored visible range or volume profile. These are available in the long position projection volume-based tools. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down at the bottom. So anchored VWAP from the start point of the IPO, click, there it goes. And then I like to put up a anchored volume profile as well. And then now I know, okay, these are custom colors for both. Now I know. All right, where's the most traded price for Circle on this daily chart on all the visible price on the IPO? $205, 180, 232, and 235. This is probably short volume, and this is probably bull volume down here. What's happening right now is we're consolidating. It's not clear that Circle's going to be the ultimate stablecoin winner of all time, although it's the first. There's multiple here. And this little trend line is it's right at the trend line. So if we lose that, this level, where's that? It's 223. I could see a pullback over time happening to 207 or 190. Also, I like to stack a Fibonacci here just for speed. You can see it's hard to see, but these levels, turn off fib, just turn those off. These levels 236, the 618 is way down here at 150. It's probably not going to happen. 150, 175, 196, 222, and then earnings on August 12th. That's less than a month from now. So consolidation in that play. Open. Massive short squeeze. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Now, I remember seeing open, and again, I don't post every single ticker or trade because it just causes confusion or FOMO or volatility on my social media. It's just if you go on the scanners, on TradingView, if you know how to use the watch list by volume gainers, it shows up. It shows up, right? It's not a secret. It's very public information. But somebody has to make an effort to go out and find it. So volatile, but then I want to show people that instead of chasing the day trading, sometimes there's signals on the day chart like back here in April, May, June. Again, open was on my scanner. It was one of the names I remember, and then it really showed up in July because it exploded to the upside short squeeze. You could see the bullish momentum, large bullish momentum on multiple indicators. We're coming down in the price. MACD histogram is going up, bull. MACD is going up. RSI is going up long term. And then the final play, stochastic RSI for extra confirmation, DMI as well. We get that DMI up cross and the stochastic, and then it's going to explode to the upside. How much did it explode from that signal of the stochastic? It's up 370%. 370%. It's better than crypto. So now we know why Wall Street bet option traders, they're trading this. Now, in terms of what I'm seeing is on the 4-hour and the 1 hour is starting to get there to this, bearish momentum setup. It does not mean it's over for open stock. It's just, I don't like buying at tops. Like it's a top right now in the post market. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this thing might rally and then somebody might try to short it. So I'm assuming the big money, $1 million short traders, they're waiting to pounce on this. So I'm not going to chase it at these levels. If I was going to trade it, which I did not, it was Thursday was the play because there's a large pullback down to EMA support. And again, if I'm not afraid, and then I use VStop, for example, maybe on the daily, I'd have to go to 15. If I use 15-minute VStop, like if I was in a pre-market, for example, or I could just reverse calculate, right? I see this 15-minute big, large bull momentum happening. The pre-market would start uptrending, and I see the VStop. Let's see. My time, the VStop was approximately 6%. That's not that bad in terms of volatility. So if I just happen to buy a market open, put 6% on small position, and let it go. Let it run. It's up 50%. Right. So sometimes just being scared of the volatility or emotional or putting on too much size or interpreting the charts wrong, or if somebody's sick and tired, those are common pitfalls and mistakes. But I'm just saying, I like using VStop and ATR because it helps me so much. This is advanced trading, by the way. This is not for beginners. So just watch out. I'm going to just call it some levels here. So pivot points R5 is at 281. Probably maybe it might even go to $3, but watch out for that support level, 255, 245 as well, and 239. I could draw a trend line below, and that support zone is somewhere in the 250 range. Let's see. Let me check a website. One moment, please. I want to give accurate information about open. Let's check some of the metrics here. So open short float was about 21%. So that makes sense. Shares float, 634 million. Shares outstanding, 700 million. Average volume right now is 100 million shares. Average daily ATR is about 20 cents. So 20 cents on a daily ATR is 10%, maybe 20% volatility. So this is not the all-in type of play. You only put in like 1%, maybe 10%, 5% maximum, or 2% maximum, right? Just had a wonderful day. So I might day trade it, but I'm probably going to wait for it to top out, and then I might short it. Or let's see here. There are options on open, so I might play either call or put option small position. It looks like shortable says no for some reason on my data. That's why I really wanted to check. So that's why this is the perfect Wall Street Bets Reddit play, right? It's the formula. It's the same thing. It's a high short float percent interest stock that's been beaten down for a really long time. Then at some point, the daily momentum turns around, the fundamentals change, the valuation changes, somebody does the due diligence on fundamental news and technical charts, and then we start to have an uptrend. It spreads on social media, then everybody trades options on it, call options and put options. So if we have a plus 36% day or 25% day, maybe some put options got destroyed and then they got sold out. They got kicked out with a short squeeze. And because it's such a small stock in terms of the volume size, it's very easy, the price to push up. But beware of FOMO and emotions. That's why sometimes it looks like this is the only play that exists, but it's not. In a 1 week or two or a month, there's going to be something else. All right, I went way too much on stocks. Let's go crypto. And I'm going to end here. The other charts, it's pretty easy to just look at those on your own. Total crypto market cap. Thanks for watching. If you like the stream, go ahead and click the like button to subscribe if you like to learn something. Total daily chart. We're still in this uptrend, but we're a little bit extended into the air. We had a little bit of sell-off into this weekend on the sell the crypto news. Bollinger Band, it's getting to this 3.92 trillion range. It just barely tapped that linear regression. And let's draw support. So if I draw a trendline support, it's pretty low. We actually went parabolic curve. That's how you know crypto is really strong with the rally. In terms of oscillators, it is overbought range, just barely, but most likely for crypto, because crypto, we're not just going to go dump straight down. It usually dips down, line touch, EMA touch, or whatever support touch, and then bounce one more time. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm still long, still bullish. Don't be afraid of a short-term sell-off, because this might not be the end of Bitcoin, but it could be the start of a pullback. There's a difference. I don't think this is the absolute top, in my opinion, of Bitcoin. It would be unfortunate if it was in history, but I don't think so, because there could be institutional money. It's starting at the highest price. If all these laws passed back at the bottom of Bitcoin, I would be so excited right now. I would be just telling everybody to all in crypto. Not now, though, because when we were down here on Bitcoin, $15,000, $16,000, if we got more significant government and Wall Street news back here, is a different president back then, and government industry, right? We're getting all the news up here at the top. That's why I'm just not telling people to go bull right now. It's just wait for another pullback. I'm already long in multiple spots in this range because I like playing the bounces. But at this moment in time, it's not the cheapest price. It's probably going to pull back. So Bitcoin, the relative Fibonacci might pull back to 116. Hopefully it doesn't go below 110. That would be a little bit concerning. But 116 looks like the support, 114 and 120K as well. Let's go to Ethereum. It would be nice if that's the real Ethereum chart. Ethereum, however, I like this golden cross, but if you know crypto, you don't sell just because your investment. I don't sell my investment just because it gets up here. This is golden cross, everybody. If this is the real one, high, low, higher, high, let it come down and then bounce again. If I'm a swing trader, however, and I just wanted to play low Bollinger Band to high Bollinger Band, then I'll move my stop loss up. I might do that. If it starts selling off, if we have a massive double top or some really scary looking head and shoulders, like, okay, fine. I might close it out and then reopen a position. But for now, I'm in investor mode. I'm in hodl mode because the fundamentals of government news is like so good. It's never been like this ever in the history of crypto. 5 or 10 years ago, everyone thought crypto was garbage. Everybody thought Bitcoin was trash, but it's not. Not anymore. It's the greatest digital asset ever created. Let's go to XRP, massive XRP rally. Now, what I want to point out here is, even though there's all these lines, if we erase it, quick lesson on XRP. I remember saying, okay, I like having this consolidation play. You know, there wasn't that much happening, but I remember saying, I like this upside down head and shoulders. And then when you have a massive breakout like this, anyone short has to close their position. And then we have fundamental news breakout. XRP had one of the best rallies for the top 10 coins, 55%. XLM, Stellar, had the greatest rally. From the bottom of July 4th, Happy Independence Day, launched to 100% rally. It's beautiful. Just remember this setup. It's a double bottom. That's why I love double bottoms in crypto. Big double bottoms, small double bottoms. I just love it all because it's support play. Now, XLM got a little bit too overextended, in my opinion. And again, I'm going to use the anchored tools because I love them. Anchored since election, volume profile. Anchored VWAP since election. There we go. So then we hit the upper VWAP range, and that's why we blasted through the VWAP and hit this target. The next resistance in long term could be 55, 56 cents here, but there's not much volume over there. The most traded price was 44 cents. So people FOMOed into this pretty late, and maybe the investors caught the 28 cent or 22, but maybe on this left side range. So in this case, I would use Fibonacci say if we hold above 45 cents, we're probably okay. If we lose 45 cents, there could be a flash dump on this to 37 cents. I just hope that doesn't happen. Rapid fire the rest. Binance coin, kind of overextended outside that consolidation breakout below 757. Resistance zone, let's just draw it here on the left side. 750 to 731. Resistance support of 708 to 702. Solana had an upside down head and shoulders, but then XRP and XLM, because they're more related to stablecoin or not stablecoin, digital payment structures. Same thing with a little bit of SUI and HBAR had some correlation as well. Solana is more the meme coin stock, so it did not blast off as much as I wanted it to. But the support on Solana 172 to 165, need to hold above that. Next resistance 179 to 180. Dogecoin, this is what I'm saying. This is a textbook play for me, everybody. I was trying to tell people that maybe this is going to go up. Remember, I'm saying it's always maybe because we don't really know if it's going to crash or not. But the evidence that shows when I drew this line of saying, oh, actually, it looks like it's going to turn around. Looks like there could be a W. Looks like there could be a double bottom play. And there's momentum on the oscillators, MACD, RSI, and then we had the DMI breakout. How many more reasons do I need to go long? Yes, a month ago, it was a little bit scary, a little bit nervous. This month was getting better, so then I long Dogecoin up 40%. It happens. It happens. Now, in terms of, is it going to go another 40%? That's a big question mark right now, because we are in the overbought range and it probably could pull back. That's why I'm closely watching support. I don't want this to happen again where you go up and straight down. So if it happens, if we dip, if we double top, I might close my position, but I think this might be the real one. So a little bit more evidence that this is going to be the real rally. So I'm still holding on to Dogecoin. Cardano had a beautiful play as well. I entered in, not going to exactly say where, but in this lower range, approximately 40% up. And in 1 week, it went 25%. So again, I remember saying this on my video weeks ago that we have bullish momentum on Cardano. And for crypto, it's so strong about the technicals. I just have to get in there. Just have to get in there. Another key was, for hint for the charts, is double bottom on the price. MACD bull, squeeze bull, MACD bull, RSI oversold, stochastic. There was one perfect day, Saturday, June 21, where all the stars aligned. And then into July 4th weekend, that's when the momentum sentiment changed. So I'm giving a lot of secret strategies right now for free. for my subscribers and supporters because I want us all to succeed. I just hope we're not trading against each other. That would be unfortunate. Link as well, right? There's just double bottoms everywhere. So that's why I was saying on last 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, there's something happening on the charts, and then I'm in, right? Just we need to watch out though, because this crypto, just in case, I'm thinking worst case scenario, if this is the top for Bitcoin, I hope it's not, but if it is, then I might need to close some positions if I'm a trader, okay? Because if I was only playing this swing from June up to here, there's short-term resistance. If I'm an investor holder, if I'm on a 5 to 10 year horizon and I'm thinking Bitcoin's going to $1 million, then who cares about what's happening right now, right? On the charts, all I care about is the fundamentals. So I have two different strategies that's running at the same time in my system and in my mind right now. All right, everybody, this is a long video, but I hope you got some benefit from this, from the charts or indicators or some strategies and psychology. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate everybody. And I hope, wish everybody success this month. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.